What's all this then? Back for a second Monaco episode in one day. I don't know why my voice is so high. If you have no idea why there's a second Monaco episode today, you need to go back and watch the channel update video from about this time yesterday. For the rest of you, you join me in the midst of the most frustrating transfer window of my life. Hello and welcome to part 15 of my Football Manager 2018 beta save with Monaco. I'm Kev, and coming up in today's episode, we're away against 4th place Dijon and 3rd place Lyon in the league. As you can see, the league isn't looking quite as pretty as it was before. All of a sudden, Paris Saint-Germain are 6 points ahead of us, despite the fact we're still unbeaten. It's mainly because they've played 2 games more than we have, but we are having a little bit of a wobble. I mean, it's a minor wobble. We drew against Montpellier, but they're just in full-on win every game mode now, like they were for most of last season. And we really need to start winning every game, including beating them towards the end of the season when we have what could well end up being a title showdown if we can keep our form going. Keeping the form going, though, is easier said than done because we're still suffering with injuries. We lost Moutinho and Tielemans to injuries in the last episode. We've since lost Sidibe, Touré, Belotti had some time out. Lamar picked up an injury, and we can't sign any players. I've been on the hunt for players all the way through this January transfer window, and every time I try and buy someone, they end up going somewhere else. We've currently got an offer in for Gaia, because I think we probably could do with a backup left-back if we look at our squad depth. Once we get past Congolo, who really probably is our 4th choice centre-back rather than the proper left-back, good old George, as much as he's done well for me on previous saves, he's just not cutting it for me this time around. So Gaia can come in as a replacement for him, maybe challenge for the first team a little bit, which George has never done for me. And then maybe bring in another midfielder. But I've been trying to bring in midfielders to cover for these injuries, and I just can't get anybody to come in. Paris Saint-Germain are whisking players out from under me as well because I wanted to sign him. But they did that. We had a £30 million offer in, which they were considering, and then bang, Paris Saint-Germain come in and offer £50 million for a player I'm fairly confident they didn't even need. Look how much better he would have... I mean, he would have been a full-on proper improvement, but, you know, can't compete with them. They're annoying. So, between this match and the next match, the transfer window closes. I'm not going to show you the game in the League Cup. So we might bring in 1 or 2 players. We've got £40 million to spend. I have a couple of players in mind. Fingers crossed I can bring Gaia plus 1 in. But I am running out of time, and I've never let a transfer window get this far along before. But I'm just getting turned down for everybody I'm trying to buy. This is the team that we're putting out against Dijon anyway, and we need a win today. If we don't win today, we really are handing all the momentum across to Paris Saint-Germain. And this is the team we're putting out there. So we've got Subasic in goal, a back 4 of Congolo, Jemison, Manolas and Sidibe, with Facer, Fabinho and a returning Moutinho in midfield, and Ozil in behind Belotti and Falcao. So as much as I'm moaning about injuries, I'm pretty sure there's several occasions this season where I've described that as my first choice 11. Probably Tielemans would be part of the first choice 11 these days, but he's still not quite fit enough to play. And I'm still not that convinced about Falcao and Belotti together. If I could find a striker to maybe put alongside Belotti, then that's one of the things I'm playing with, and hopefully I'll have an exciting new signing to show you in about 5 minutes time. But at the moment, I'm still trying to find a way to get the combination of strikers we've got to work for us. Jovetic seems to link up well with both of them when he plays, but he just misses so many sitters that it makes me angry having him on the pitch, despite the fact that as the complete forward on support, he makes both Belotti and Falcao play better and score more goals. But I just can't deal with him missing sitters and missing when he's through on goal again like he keeps doing. So I'm persisting with trying to find a way to get Falcao and Belotti to work together. If it doesn't work today, then I'm going to go and sign another striker. That's basically where the thought process is at the moment. But we're 1-0 up, thanks to Fabinho's 6th goal of the season. Reassuringly, he's not been linked with any transfers away in about a year now. Both him and Sidibe, and I think there were probably a couple of others, for a little while there, they were all being linked with moves away to other clubs, whereas despite not actually winning anything in the year and a half we've been at Monaco. I think my reputation has improved enough, and we're improving the fortunes of Monaco. He says we took over the champions and Champions League semi-finalists and have done nowhere near as well. But I don't know, for whatever reason, the players seem to have taken to me a little bit, and they're not being linked with moves away anymore. So I am able to build on what we've got a little bit. But no one wants to come in to do that building, so it's all right having players who aren't leaving, but I still need to add a couple of new faces, because we're not quite there, and the squad is still a little bit thin for my liking. You know, I like a big squad. I mean, that's not a bad bench, is it? He says the squad's thin. I don't know that there's been many times in my history of playing Football Manager, certainly on YouTube, where I've had a better looking bench than that one. Perhaps Carrillo isn't quite up to my normal standards, so maybe we do need a new striker more than anything else. The rest of the bench is looking pretty strong, but I don't know, I still feel like we're lacking game changers a little bit. I know Lamar was spectacular in the Paris Saint-Germain match, basically spearheading our return into that match, but he then picked up a knock shortly afterwards. Ozil started playing well again, has been quite instrumental in the recent run of wins, and I still haven't figured out a way to get those two to play together. Which is probably rather than signing a striker, I should be coming up with a front three that has Belotti or Falcao with Ozil and Lamar. But it's not one. Let's try it now. I'm often talking about it. Don't do it often enough to see if it's actually going to work. So we'll put Falcao there. Ozil's going to still be a playmaker. He can be on. We'll put him on attack. Get him into these areas here. Lamar can be a winger, and then we take off Falcao as well and put Jovetic up there. And the whole thing, it makes a mockery of the whole thing then, doesn't it? In fact, if we put him on support and have Lamar on attack and have both of those two pushing forward, and then just take off the narrow thing. No, not fairly wide, just balanced. And take off exploit the middle as well. We've fiddled with this on videos before. I never do it when you lot aren't watching. I think the act of talking about it makes me think about it, whereas sometimes when you're not there, I can drop into autopilot a little bit. And Jemison, that comes back off the crossbar, I think, or it might have been a save from the keeper. Either way, it's a lovely free kick from Lamar. And now we're just trying to build again, but the highlight ends. And we've got room for one more substitution. I think Sander Berger probably is the man who's going to be coming on. Moutinho's still not fully fit. And Berger has been deputising quite adequately in midfield there. He's made it less of an urgency. He's created less urgency around having to sign a new central midfield player because we already had him at the club. Ozil finds Sidibe. Can we grab a second here? Sidibe with the cross. I mean, that's a terrible cross. I don't even know what he was trying to achieve there. We've somehow managed to win a corner, but it was just weird. Lamar with the corner, and it goes nowhere really, but Facer's going to collect. Is he going to knock it back through to Lamar again? He's not. He plays it square to Manolas, and the highlight just peters out again. And, oh, that's a risky pass back. And, I mean, the keeper, I mean, really, that was all very... they were more confident than I was in that little exchange. Fabinho, Lamar is in, squares it to Jovetic, who, of course, had a good chance and missed, because that's all he ever does. Right, Ozil to Berger to Fabinho. This is nice football we're playing now. Jovetic misses again. I'm going to go out and buy a striker. I think Jovetic is convincing me that he's not the man to be my third choice striker. Lamar with a free kick, he misses as well. And we have missed a lot of chances this game. Look at those shots. They've had 2. We've had 20. Dijon are 4th in the league. That shows you the huge gulf behind us, Paris Saint-Germain and Lyon. And they're going to score here to just annoy me for the golf comment, but luckily they haven't. We're now 3 points behind Paris Saint-Germain with a game in hand. And hopefully, when you come back in a minute, I'll have got through to the final of the League Cup. Who cares? But more importantly, we'll have signed a player or two. Oh, I feel like you should be interviewing me hanging out the car window of my car. That's where car windows usually are. After that transfer window I've just had, deadline day was properly hectic. And instead of the 2 players I hoped we'd sign, I signed the first 2. And then for the third one, went to the board and said, please, pretty please, can I have this one? And they went and signed him for me as well. 3 new players in 3 positions we identified. we're going to go and win the league now. I don't see how we mess up from here. Firstly, the outs, and they're only on loan. Baldi and George have both gone out on loan to Atlanta and Hertha respectively, because the players we've brought in, we've signed Kasper Dolberg from Ajax for £40 million. He's our proper complete forward who can play alongside Belotti or Falcao. That is a signing and a half. We've then signed Arthur to come into our midfield. 10 caps for Brazil already. 4.5-star current ability. He's better than any other central midfielder we've got at the club at the moment. He comes in for £18.5 million. And Moutinho may as well kiss the team goodbye. We now have a player to partner Fabinho in our midfield. And then the one that I wasn't going to get until the board said I could have him as well, Gaia does come in. I'd actually withdrawn the initial bid that I had for Gaia so that I could sign the other two, because I decided they were more important. But Gaia comes in, which means George has gone out on loan, and we now have a proper left back at the club as well, with masses of potential to improve. All of which means our team for our big match against local rivals Nice is this one. All three of the new players are coming straight into the team, because Dolberg and Belotti, I just need to see that together, and I need you to see it as well when I experience it for the first time. Arthur comes into the midfield because we're still massively struggling for fitness. Moutinho is still there. Fabinho drops back to being the holding midfield player. Facer, still don't know how to say his name, drops to the bench for this one, but realistically, going forward, we'll probably have Fabinho there, Facer in behind. But we've got to try a few different things, fiddling around a little bit. And Congolo moves across to partner Manolas at the back, because I like him. I want to keep him in the team, but I don't really like Glick or Jemison, so we're moving those out of the team for now. And there you go, squad numbers for all the three new players as well. I can't explain how excited I am to see Belotti and Dolberg up front together. I really hope this doesn't let me down, but they look like they should be just about a perfect strike partnership. And Falcao's going to be looking around him thinking, what just happened? I've been top scorer for the last year and a half, while this new guy Belotti hasn't really settled. He can't partner me. Jovetic is missing chances constantly, and then all of a sudden, bang! I've got a partnership that I'm pretty much always going to pick ahead of Falcao unless it just doesn't work. But there we have Ozil, Dolberg and Belotti all combining to create a little chance for Sidibe. And, oh, I'm excited. I'm really excited for this front three. Right, Dolberg to Moutinho, who's basically playing for his place in the squad, never mind the team. And that's how you say, hang about, boss, I'd like to still be involved, please. Because that is a cracking finish from Moutinho. New boy Dolberg is involved, plays it to Moutinho in midfield, who then plays a 1-2, I think. 1-2 with Belotti, and bang. I mean, he's hit that with some oomph and then given it the milking the cow celebration. So, any goal that ends with a grown man pretending to milk an imaginary cow is a good goal in my book. But, oh, Guy is injured already. Goodness me. We've managed to get 15 minutes of play out of him. He's probably broken his leg, and that'll be it. Arthur scores on his debut. An assist by his countryman, compatriot. An assist from Fabinho. They're both Brazilian. I like having Brazilians in my team, but this is a nice little finish from Arthur. And again, Moutinho, Tielemans, Berger particularly must all be looking on thinking, I'll go and make the coffee with Falcao. What's happened here? He's suddenly... we thought we were safe throughout the whole of January. We've made it to lunchtime on deadline day. No new faces. And then all of a sudden, bang, 3 new starters come in and play the next day. It's not ideal for team dynamics. No one seems to be kicking off, though. And it seems to be... I mean, remember, Nice are rubbish. They're down in the relegation zone, so let's not get too excited. But we absolutely needed to freshen the team up a little bit, add a little bit more attacking oomph, and I think that's exactly what we've added. And Ozil runs through with the ball. Belotti is there. Gaia's on the overlap, but instead he goes for Arthur, who hits the crossbar. And that was this close to being 3 with a really fast counter-attack, and it's the kind of move that we just didn't have in us before. But now, apparently, we do. And it's Gaia, with his injury. I mean, that's a terrible pass. He probably hit that with his leg that he's broken. Sidibe does intercept there, and Dolberg finds Moutinho, who's in a lot of space, but can't find Belotti. But Belotti does chase on to a bit of a wayward back pass, and it's cleared and back with Arthur in midfield again, who, I tell you what, he's having a decent debut, isn't he? Ozil plays Belotti in, out to Gaia, who's in loads of space. He crosses, and Dolberg misses an absolute sitter. I mean, it would have been easier for him to score there. Cliche bingo, tick that one off. But, yeesh. I mean, Arthur and Gaia have arrived nicely. Dolberg and Belotti, the thing I was really excited about. I mean, they're the two lowest rated players on the pitch right now. So, yeah, Falcao might get an opportunity in this second half. But, you know, it's his debut. And I think Dolberg was the one of the three who wasn't quite match fit either. I don't know if he's not been in the Ajax team, or if he's coming back from an injury, or if they've maybe been on some kind of winter break. Do they have a winter break in the Netherlands? But either way, he wasn't quite match fit before we started. So I'll get my excuses in early for him, because we did spend a lot of money on him. And now Gaia's properly injured, and I really should have taken him off earlier. And you're probably all screaming at me down in the comments, because I've made him play an hour with a knee injury. Oh, goodness me. Let's bring Glick on. I hope I can recall George. There you go. Congolo got to play as a centre-back for 45 minutes before he's gone back to the left-back position that I've been making him play for a year and a half. Why can't I just have why can't I have nice things? I just want a good left-back. That's all I want. Right, Belotti's coming off. Falcao can come on. We'll try Falcao and Dolberg together. I mean, that still looks pretty impressive. And we'll leave it there for now. We'll do another substitution in a minute. Probably will take Dolberg off before the end of the match, just to, again, don't want to break two of the new players on their debuts. And man, alas, and it just goes over the bar. We've absolutely dominated this game. We've destroyed Nice 2-0, which, you know, when we've got, what, £150 million worth of attackers up front that we've signed in the last 6 months, and we're struggling a little bit for goals. It's a bit of a worry. There you go. We'll go back. We'll go back to Jovetic and Falcao. All the excitement, and he just peters off into... Oh, I like the fact he's an elite striker. Jovetic is an unpredictable striker. Yeah, you're telling me he's unpredictable. I mean, the only thing you can predict about him is that he'll miss a sitter at some point in the game, but then occasionally he'll score something absolutely spectacular that he had no right to attempt. I just wish he'd learned to do the simple stuff correctly. But then I guess if he could do that, he wouldn't be 28 years old and still playing for Monaco. He'd be at a proper club. Right, Jovetic out to Sidibe. Cross comes into Ozil and he can't quite get there. Although, to be fair, we're building a really nice looking team at Monaco now. And Moutinho plays Congolo in, squares it for Ozil. There's your 3-0. Congolo back out at left back, gets his assist. And that was a nice little move again. I mean, I moan about having to play Congolo at left back, but he's proved there, and he's proven time and time again in the last season and a half that, I mean, it's not like playing Tony Adams at left back. He's pretty mobile and has got a decent cross on him. Apologies to the younger viewers if you don't know who Tony Adams is. Look him up. He's a lumbering brute. Nickname was Donkey, if I recall. I don't know if it actually was. That's what my dad used to call him. It might well have been his nickname. I mean, even I'm not old enough to remember him in detail. Right, Falcao crosses and it's straight into the keeper's hands. And we win 3-0. And that should put us back top of the league again. We've just got a Steven achievement for on a roll. I don't know what that means. It's just winning lots of games. And there you go, we are back at the top of the league by a goal on goal difference. But more importantly, 22 games in, still unbeaten. And that excites me. Not quite as much as all my new signings did, though. They're really exciting. And there you go, Gaia's only got a bruised knee. We're going to be fine. If you've enjoyed today's episode, and particularly if you enjoyed today's transfers, please make sure you give this one a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. Thank you very much for watching.